All right, so there are multiple ways to represent points within the polar coordinate system, which is different from the rectangular system. With x's and y's, there's really only one way to show one x value and one y value that fit together on the rectangular grid. But for polars, it's a little bit different. There's multiple ways to name a given point. So let's take a look first at the polar coordinate 3, negative 3 pi over 4. So I'm going to start by identifying that negative 3 pi over 4 means we're going to rotate in the negative direction. And then our r value being 3 means the point is going to be right here. So this is 3, negative 3 pi over 4. But you can imagine multiple different ways to represent this. We're going to work just with angles between negative 2 pi and positive 2 pi. So you can imagine that we could be at the same place, but instead of that negative rotation, we'd have a positive rotation. So our r value would still be 3, but our angle, instead of being negative 3 pi over 4, would be positive 5 pi over 4. So that's what we can do with our positive r value. Something to keep in mind, though, is that we could also have a negative r value. So we could look and say, well, actually, I could rotate pi over 4, but instead of going forward 3 units towards that, I can go backwards 3 units. So my r would be negative 3, but my angle would still be pi over 4. We get to the same place. Last but not least, you could also think of us arriving at that same place by going in the negative direction. And so this negative angle would be negative 7 pi over 4. And then our r value would need to be negative as well. So you can see that we have all these different representations for these polar coordinates. And this is just within the negative 2 pi to 2 pi range. But if we remove that restriction, and we had no restriction at all on what angles we choose, we could have an infinite number of ways to name these points. So keeping that in mind, we're going to talk about coordinate conversion. So going back and forth between rectangular coordinates and polar coordinates. They really exist on the same plane. The difference is sort of how you describe how you get to that one point. So like this point right here is a point that we could either think of as, well, you go over x and up y. And that's sort of like city blocks. If you're thinking about, if you're New York City or some other big city that has a grid system, you say you go over 3 blocks and up 3 blocks. The polar coordinates sort of function as the crow flies. So you would say, all right, you're going to go in some angle, some direction, and then you're going to go some distance. So you'd get there straight away as the crow flies. We can convert between our coordinates very easily, kind of using this little toolbox. And all of these equations come from understanding that this is basically a right triangle. And it should look sort of familiar from our vectors. So if we are given our polar coordinates of r and theta, we can use those to figure out what our rectangular coordinates are, and we would use these formulas right here. And it's sort of like what we did with vectors, where you just take the radius or the magnitude times cosine and the magnitude times sine, and that's how we got our component form of a vector. That's going to be similar to this here. When we want to convert from rectangular to polar, then we're going to use these equations here. So this is where we're given some x and y values, and then it's our job to find the r and the theta. These can be a little bit trickier just because they have multiple options on what they could be. And so we'll just kind of want to pay attention to the best way to tackle those. So let's start by working through this table, and I'm just going to call this first one A. And we have a polar coordinate. And what we're going to do for polar to rectangular is pretty straightforward. Polar to rectangular. What we're going to do is we're just going to identify, we have an r value of 5 and a theta value of negative pi over 3. So to get our x value, we're going to do r times cosine of our theta. And to get our y value, we're going to do 5 times the sine of our theta, which is negative pi over 3. All right, so what we need to do is kind of think about what is that on our unit circle, negative pi over 3, where is that? Picture what's going on. We're somewhere down here. And that cosine value is 1/2, and then the sign value is negative root 3 over 2. So those are my x and y values. When we go to write the final coordinate, let's just kind of clean that up. And so our x value would be 5 over 2, and our y value would be negative 5 root 3 over 2. Okay, so the rest of our coordinates are in rectangular form, and we're going to convert them to polar form. And so whenever we're doing rectangular to polar, it's really helpful to kind of picture what's going on here. So I'm going to start with a problem, we'll call it B here, the second one. So the coordinate, the x value is negative 3 and the y value is 0. So let's just kind of picture what that looks like when we're working this problem. So if we're trying to picture what's happening, we're saying, well, the x value is negative 3, 0. So if this was a vector, it would look something like this. So we can see what the r value is. That's just the distance from the center out to that point. So the r value is very clearly 3. Now you could go through the process of doing x squared plus y squared equals r squared, but that's really not necessary. And then when we look at our angle here, well, there's really multiple ways to do it, but typically what we're going to look at is say, okay, well, I can see that positive rotation is pi units. But I could have also said that that angle is negative pi. All right, there's multiple different ways to represent this, and if you try and use your calculator to do it, you may see an answer that doesn't represent what you actually are seeing by looking at the graph. So this part can be very intuitive, and I wouldn't overthink using formulas, in particular if you have a 0 as your x or your y value, because those are very clear. If we look, though, at what I'll call problem C here, if we're picturing this point, we're going over 4 and up 3. So we have this coordinate here, 4, 3. And if we're trying to figure out what the r value is, you see that we've got a triangle here. So this is 4, this is 3. We can use our Pythagorean identity, x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And so we would just say, all right, well, r squared equals 4 squared plus 3 squared. Well, that means r squared is 25, therefore r is 5. Now the angle isn't one of these nice angles that we're used to having from the unit circle. What we're going to use is what we already know, which is tangent. So if this is my angle theta, and I have my opposite and adjacent sides, I can calculate that angle. So the way we would do that is we would just take our inverse tangent of the y value over the x value. Now, depending on what mode you're in for your calculator, you're going to get a different answer. If you're in degree mode, you're going to get something like 36.9 degrees. If you're in radian mode, you're going to get 0.644. Let's go ahead and just do the radians, 0.644. So that is our r and our theta conversion from the xy coordinates of 4 and 3. All right, that was C. Let's do D last. 0, 5. So again, let's try and picture that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, the beauty of this, anytime you've got a 0 involved, is we should very easily be able to calculate that angle, right? If you think about this as kind of like your unit circle, we got 0, we got pi over 2, we got pi, 3 pi over 2. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the angle is pi over 2. And then we can see what the r value is. That's the distance from the origin up to that point, and that's also 5. Okay, so just make sure you feel comfortable with those going back and forth as we move forward.